Good morning. Welcome to our Sunday service at UUFLB, the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Laguna Beach. My name's Noreen Kukinen, and I'm very pleased to be with you today. I think we have a great service ahead of us, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think today perhaps represents a first here at UUFLB. Have you ever heard Weird Al in this hallowed place before? Yeah, we like him. He's doing a parody, of course, of Michael Jackson's Beat It, but he's making a point that's salient today. He's talking about how we have a lot of food that we waste. And there are a lot of people who don't have that luxury. And our guest today will help us understand what can be done to help people who don't have the advantages that we have. Our parents used to chide us, at least mine did, that we needed to think of the poor kids in China when we left food on our plates. But we don't have to look that far to find people who are hungry or perhaps just ill-nourished from inferior foods. Our guest, Jamiah Hargins, has founded a gardening collective called Crop Swap LA to help eradicate food inequity in Black and Brown communities in Southern California, where markets can be few and far between, and food offerings too frequently are inferior. Affordable and easy access to healthy, nutritious food is a right, not a luxury, says Jamiah, and it should not depend on one's zip code. The Crop Swap LA mission is to grow food on unused spaces, creating sustainable jobs and local nutrient-rich food in communities affected most by food insecurity. And there's much to celebrate. It'll be great to hear this inspiring story later in our service today. Thanks to everybody who helps get these services online and going in our community here in Laguna Beach. Our music director, Carol Cole, always has great melodies that make our experience here on Sunday mornings perfect. And she's also a font of knowledge of music. If you're ever stuck with choosing a piece of music that's suitable for a service or perhaps a family event, I think Carol would be a good person to ask. On our AV staff, we have Don West Jr., Pam Floodman, and Doris Gorecki, who are essential to us being heard and seen here in our sanctuary. And Paul Bogdan can always be counted on to prepare our space for worship and keep an eye on this aging building. We appreciate all the work that everyone does for UUFLB. There's so many behind the scenes who contribute and keep us going. And everybody deserves to pat themselves on the back. This congregation is open to all who are in accordance with our principles, mission, and vision. We believe in the golden rule, loving our neighbors as ourselves, working for a better world, searching for truth with an open mind, using reason to help us explore religious ideas, and granting everyone the right to choose their own beliefs. Our goals are expressed in our 7 principles that are printed on the reverse of the order of service, which is available here in the sanctuary. It can also be found online at uua.org. We'd love to have you join us if these are your principles too. Thank you. Today's service relates best to our 2nd principle's goal of justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Crop Swap LA is leveling the playing field by helping minority growers take charge of their produce needs without dependence on expensive and inferior grocery stores. Crop Swap LA is an effort to fight back against food apartheid in minority communities. It's about having nutritious food without price gouging. It's a great project. Our chalice this morning will be lit by me. It's the only symbol that we have in our UU faith. It illuminates a world that we're called upon to serve with love and a sense of justice. If you have a candle nearby, this is a good time to light yours and join together with us in the spirit of light and wisdom. In the words of Reverend Roy T. Bennett, learn to light a candle in the darkest hours of someone's life. Be the light that helps others see. It is what gives life its deepest significance. Our centering thought is on your screen. The nourishment of the body is food, while the nourishment of the soul is feeding others. This is from a 7th century imam of the Shia faith. Sharing food offers us a chance to connect meaningfully with others as it serves a human need. In a poetic sense, we share the food of spiritual help when we live according to our UU principles. Our opening hymn this morning is number 1067, Mother Earth, Beloved Garden. The words will appear on the screen. Please use your most robust voice in concert with us all in this beautiful hymn.
Would you like to stand? If not, it's fine too. Please join me. Mother Earth, beloved garden, living treasure underfoot. All our days you ground our being, sage and thistle, grass and root. Herbs to heal us, plants to feed us, land to fill and tend and plow. With the pen at deep at midnight beneath, ask you be here now. Father, air, your inspiration holds together all that lives. As we breathe, our minds see clearly, leadings to love and give. Raging whirlwind, whispered breezes, violent gale and gentle cloud. With the blade as sharp as morning east, we ask you be here now. Mother fire, great transformer, share the passion of the sun. In our hearts you warm revive us, cooks our food and heats our homes. Flaming candle, love within us, blazing desert will to grow. With the one directing power, south we ask you be here now. Sister water ever flowing, ocean, river, pond and rain. Begging now we quench our thirsty cleanse as we began again. Mist and ice and host of changes. With the cup of holy chalice, rest we ask you be here now. Love, spirit, intuition in the center of our souls. In your love we find relation, all connected we are whole. Timeless mystery, quiet, conscious, deepest values voice inside. With the drum and with the cauldron, this we ask you be our God.
Thank you, Carol. That's beautiful. The affirmation that we are about to read in unison explains why we come together at UUFLB. These are the goals that we aspire to. I invite you to unmute your microphone at home and read the words on the screen. We may not sound in sync, but our shared desire to grow our souls is. May we be
Be
reminded
reminded here
of
of our highest
aspirations
aspirations
inspired
and
to
inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity.
May we know
May we know once again that we are not isolated beings,
but
but
connected
connected in mystery and
to
miracles,
the
the
universe,
universe, to this community, and to each other.
We come to the time of our service when we share the news about what's been happening in our lives in the last week. The microphone is muted. I should say the recording is stopped. There's a lot building, but it doesn't keep the bills out. And they keep coming. They keep coming in. Somebody slips them under the door. Please remember to make your fiscally responsible donation, for it is much a blessing to be able to give as to receive. Paul will be passing the basket if you are able to contribute. We're grateful for all that we have in our lives, roofs over our head, plenty of food to eat, so we give. Our combined donations make a heftier fund with which to do good. May we give in love and hope. The information on the screen shows you, if you're at home, how you can make a donation, either online or by check sent in the mail to our address here in Laguna Beach. We also participate individually in the homeless program in Laguna Canyon. The food given in the name of UUFLB, as well as the management of that effort, is all because of volunteers. If you'd like to participate with an occasional meal component, and that can be something purchased too, an occasional meal component, please let me know and I will connect you with the managers, but you probably know them too. It's Bruce and John, who are also members of our congregation, and Tapestry, but they spend a lot of effort and expense and time because they want to, and it's a very good kind of contribution to make. Let's stand and sing our song of gratitude in a moment. Paul, can you bring the donation forward? Sorry. Oh. Let's stand and sing our words of gratitude.
From you I received my gift. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I received, to you my gift. Together we share, and from this we live.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. At this time in our service, we set aside a few minutes to meditate, to relax our body and calm our minds before we hear from our speaker. There'll be silence followed by carol playing to end our meditation. But first, take a deep breath. And perhaps place your feet under you on the floor, nice and flat. Really feel your feet in contact with the ground underneath you. Place your hands loosely in your lap and take 2 to 3 breaths deep, noticing your body rising and falling with each in and out breath. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Breathe in to a count of 5. Hold your breath for a count of 5. Breathe out slowly for a count of 5. Our guest today, Jamiah Hargins, is a father, author, innovator, and community leader. He founded Crop Swap LA in 2018 to eliminate food scarcity. The project has created jobs, independent economies, and lots of nutrient-rich food. Crop Swap currently has 3 locations and serves 30 families in the Leimert Park area every week. The organization has grown to a staff of 20 and has received international attention for its unique water recycling and community distribution methodologies that retain rainwater on site and create hyperlocal green jobs. Time magazine recognized Jamiah as one of 27 people bridging divides across America. Jamiah has degrees from the University of Chicago and Columbia University and has a professional background in stock and options trading, executive headhunting, and international development. He owns several trademarks and patents, and I find this one interesting, a device for the bathroom called toiletries that uses clean toilet water to grow a fragrant and odor-eating plant. He is fluent in Portuguese and Spanish, and he has a beautiful wife and 2 young daughters. We're pleased to welcome you, Jamiah.
Thank you all so much. And I know there may be a slight delay in the audio, so those like Ross, Dr. Ross, please give me a thumbs up that you hear me. Wonderful. Thank you all so much. Nice to meet you. Again, my name is Jamiah Hargins. I'm so grateful to spend some time with you. I wish I could have been there in person at your lovely service in the congregation, but I feel your love from this distance in Los Angeles. It's probably about 40 miles away, maybe 20, but I feel your love and I'm so grateful to be here. So I'm going to give you my best impression of what I believe goes along with your principle. I think earlier in the service, you mentioned a principle about justice and eradicating injustice and really supporting each other. And so that's what we'll see here in our conversation. I've got some slides of images, but at the end, plenty of time for Q&A. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat as we go. But I'll start by saying that I kind of got into all of this accidentally. I'll tell you what this is and how that happened, but all of it's based on abundance. So today it's one blooming garden at a time. And we began with my first garden in my backyard in a rental home I had a few years ago. 2018, I threw together what I could to grow food with the idea that my daughter, at the time, I have two now, she needed the best food just because she's beautiful and perfect like every other child. And our imagery of how we care for our children, our grandchildren, our nieces, nephews, families that are younger than us is that they deserve the best food automatically. And what I did was grow too much. I found that the Swiss chard, big, beautiful green leafy greens, ended up having way too much, and I just didn't need it all. So it actually reminds me of a Bible verse from Matthew. And I'll read it to you in case the screen is too small here. So I'll read it nice and loud. But the idea that you plant something and have too much and then end up having more benefits from that. So check this out. Matthew chapter 13, verse 31 and 32. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. If anyone here has seen a mustard seed, it is among all the seeds, it's one of the smallest ones. And it'll talk about that in the next verse, but keep in mind the scale. There are some seeds that are huge, like an avocado seed. There are others that are like coconuts and the whole thing is kind of a seed, right? So keep in mind that this tiny little mustard seed in this parable, it says the kingdom of heaven is like this mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. The whole kingdom of heaven is like that mustard seed. That's incredible to think about. So let's see what it talks about. Verse 32, though it is the smallest of all your seeds, yet when it grows, it's the largest of garden plants. So it's the smallest of all your seeds. And then when it grows, it's the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree so that the birds of the air come and perch on its branches. That's incredible to me. The birds of the air, meaning there are other birds on the ground, but birds of the air descend themselves from that highest height that they could choose to be at all the way down to the ground to be on this mustard seed tree, to perch on its branches. It's just incredible to think. So let's go back to that image I showed you a second ago. This Swiss chard that I accidentally grew too much of. This is, imagine birds coming down and perching on its branches once it has its sturdy seeds growing out. And how much activity that would be for one little backyard. It's incredible to think what's possible. So that's what I did. I took that Swiss chard and put it out to my neighborhood. I called them crop swaps, these kind of get-togethers of people who also had too much of something at their place. They might have persimmons, green beans, eggs from their chickens. And this is right in the city of Los Angeles, mind you. I have a busy La Brea, I think we're at La Brea and Jefferson, corner. But there are people out there who grow food and had extra and wanted to also kind of allow the birds to perch on their branches. Our team in 2018, we were just volunteers at the time. We went around and got fruit from people's trees and included those just kind of on the sidewalk as gifts for people to take whatever they wanted. Sometimes, it would create a nice atmosphere on the sidewalk where people would be kinder and gentle and welcoming. That got me thinking about an idea I had, which is, what if we could transform this into a place that actually does have more green and food intentionally? So this here is an image. You can kind of see it from where you're sitting, but it's in Switzerland. This is a Swiss town over in Europe that has all of their yards manicured for agriculture. I'm looking at, rows and rows of food. I see cages for chickens. I see, sheds, and it just seems so lovely. And I just have no idea why Los Angeles can't be the same way. And when I speak about Los Angeles, I could also be speaking about Laguna Beach, or anywhere that has residential space where there's a private homeowner could choose to make some change with the space. This was 2020 now, when I actually had the opportunity to do this. Here near my home, I met a guy at my wife's school. He's a math teacher that owns this beautiful home in View Park, California. It's just right nearby Lamert Park and kind of off Crenshaw around the 50s. And basically, I told him my idea. I showed him the image of Switzerland, and I said, "Hey, let's try this." You know, I'd gotten a little money from a competition. It was $50,000 for the idea that we could transform front yards into foodscapes and then manage it. So his was the first location I chose. A big, beautiful front yard with about 1,000 square feet. And it has a view of the mountains and lots of traffic that go by. So when we did this project, we knew people would see it. The first thing we did, and don't get overwhelmed by the detail on here, but just see that we transformed the yard. This is a top-down view. The East Garden and the West Garden have kind of rows of food that are designed to just basically, there's a reservoir. The blue square is where water is stored underground. So it's sprayed on top, but the arrows show you the way that it drains downhill back into the reservoir over and over again. That way we actually never end up losing water, but the excess water from the plants goes back into our hole in the ground, and we can use it over and over again. It's kind of like an in-ground cistern, or maybe even like a pond. Maybe some folks on here have a backyard pond of some type. Basically, these rectangular things, they are made of recycled baby bottles. They're plastic, made of that, and they go underground, and we fill it with water, and basically irrigate these black things, which are the soil socks that have our plants in them. The extra drains through them and rolls back down into the hole. So it's a way to kind of keep that water. At the time, I didn't have a lot of money, so a lot of folks in this image here were volunteers. Later, I hired about almost all of these people, but I was grateful that a mentor of mine allowed me to perch on his branch and learn from him in the landscaping world here. So he and his team in the blue, they came out and helped me with my concept. They helped us install another version. This is another view of kind of how it is. And we put those boxes deep in the ground, you know, these baby bottle recyclable plastics that hold space for water, in order to make it to our soil socks. The soil socks we cut holes in, put some seedlings in, and watered it. Here's the top-down view from, I think we had a drone flying above and got a view of it. It's got, you know, 9 rows of food, all organic, and recycling water into the front. Here's my favorite image of all the 4 years since we've been doing this. I know, I see your face, Dr. Ross. I know, it's amazing. But these are 3 volunteers who later I hired. Just abundance, beautiful food. This is a yard. I can't, even as I'm looking at it myself, and I look at this every day, I'm still kind of blown away by what we've done with that. So we put a sign here. Farm is what we called it. Asante, a word in Swahili that means thank you. It's a thank you to the neighborhood for letting us kind of experiment on this concept. It's a thank you to the homeowners who have nothing more than a land use agreement written up with us so we can make sure we do this together. And it's a thank you to, I guess, me and my team for really putting the effort to make this happen. But on the sign here, we have hyperlocal organically grown produce. It's crops grown with recycled rain using upcycled materials. And this particular theme of this microfarm is that it's a Black American resistance to food apartheid. And thank you. I was really happy, Noreen, earlier to hear you say food apartheid, because for those that may not be familiar with the term, food apartheid means people are controlling what we even have access to in the first place. And really that's the case even in wealthier areas. There's also food apartheid there. You know, folks have no control unless you're growing your own food. And so this is to call out that fact, to name it, and then to, you know, put our feet in the mud and make it happen, to grow food where we can and preserve water, to, you know, plant the mustard seed that can grow and inspire, because this didn't end up just being food, right? It's hefty. This is a zucchini. it's beneficial in that way, but it's also inspirational to volunteers and staff who haven't, I mean, I've never seen a basket of vegetables this healthy. Like I can go to Whole Foods and I don't think they have this. So I think, or maybe they do, but it's twice as expensive as what we're selling ours for. And so this is to show folks that abundance is God-given, and that by nature's element, we do have the right to it. Not only that, but we also have the materials, the mechanisms, the legal structures, the financial structures. We've got the teammates, the space, the land, the structure with homeowners, and everything that we need to really reverse course, right? Because there's no pausing course with our food. Thankfully, that beautiful video of the hilarious comedian that you showed at the beginning of the service, it is so appropriate for our work, because we're told in our society to just eat it, eat anything, right? And that's a concept of food, right? Just don't think about what's in it, don't think about how it was made, don't think about the price, and if the price is right for you, just eat it and deal with it, and then go work out if you care about your health. And that's not the right direction. Reversing course means beginning with health in mind, right? Health of the community. As you see here, we put our bags on the edge, and then people either swing by on their bikes and walking. We give them a discount if they do that, or we deliver it automatically to people's homes to reduce our carbon impact as a group. Additionally, reducing the carbon impact here, a local subsidy, the first one I have here is about turf removal. So we get some money back every time we install one of these per square foot, which is helpful. And then we also have EBT and CalFresh enabled. So folks know if you're lower income, you can get our food for half off. And that means a lot for a low-income single parent who may have kids and who are eating unhealthy food otherwise. So there's a lot of power in that impact right there. There's also power in our water impact. This is a little difficult to see, but just so you know, the red line is the water we would have used the first month we put this in, but because it's water recycling, the blue line shows the water we actually used. And that difference, folks, is 92%, using only 8% of the water that was previously used for that yard to now grow food for 15 to 20 families every week. So I got an award from City Council, which was nice. And this just shows a little bit of our timeline. Again, I know it's small letters, but just on the far right where we are now is that we're launching an $80 million endowment for urban farming. The idea is that we want to raise money one time and live off of the interest, and we want the community to help us reach that $80 million goal. We've gotten some great press. You mentioned Time Magazine. I have a deal with Adidas as well. I had some clothing in the store recently, which is pretty cool. This is our second micro farm. This is Beverly, who's a great grandma and allowed us to use her flat yard to grow food of our second micro farm. It serves, I think, 7 families every week, and really they just love it. They love it. We get so many good things about it from the community. Our staff are happy. I, as a leader, am very concerned about making sure farming doesn't repeat the same sins that it's done for rural farming to those migrant populations and others where their work's devalued. I think that entire supply chain is wrong. So what we're doing instead is treating people right. Most people in this image and the next image are full-time employees with benefits who get time off to go garden at home, who start their jobs with vacation time because sometimes you need that at the beginning. And I really treat people well. I get that I'm a good leader, and that's just something I wanted to share. I don't know why I wanted to share that, but I think it's important in this space because I'm holding something so valuable that can create abundance and create happiness and be a workplace refugee space for people who had trouble in other jobs, or don't find themselves fitting into the traditional workspaces like myself. I had been a trader on Wall Street. I'd done executive work, and it's useful in helping me organize everything on my level now, but I definitely belong out in the sun in the city with people talking about food, connecting our cultures, and developing. So this is our third micro farm, the green area, and I actually bought this house myself here in LA. It's going to serve 45 families and be a lot more impactful. So we've got a lot of work going on. This is a guy on a tractor at the beginning of the project. And this is a lady inside a water pit that we filled up with 5,000 gallons of water. So the property stores 10,000 gallons of water and can get through any catastrophe, basically. So yeah, I'm nearing the end of the presentation. Just wanted to open it up to Q&A, start jogging your thoughts about that. We can talk all about details. Adidas put up a mural of me. I think this is the last thing. And it's up in Leimert Park, so that's pretty cool. But it's just great to have a little bit of like community, backing, to know that people appreciate what we're doing. The clothing were in the store, which is really not in the store anymore, but it was nice to kind of reach a different audience with that. And oh yeah, this is the Adidas headquarters where my face is actually right in front of the whole Adidas. It's crazy. Oh, and I wrote a book. So children's book called Captain Plant It. It's a coloring book that's lyrical and shows people how to grow food on their front yards. So yeah, I'm gonna leave in the chat. I'm gonna open it up to Q&A now, but I'm going to put in the chat my contact information. That way folks, have it and can be in touch. So thank you so much for listening, and I love to talk with folks about any questions or thoughts that you have.
We would like to ask you questions at the end of the service, which is coming soon.
Great.
In the meantime, there's a slide that indicates where you might send a donation if anyone listening to this wonderful project today is interested in making a contribution. So that will be appearing. We thank you really a lot. It was much more than planting a seed. Very, very interesting to hear about such a successful and meaningful contribution to people. It's a beautiful story. And thank you so much for sharing it with us today.
Thank you all.
You can also find Crop Swap online if you want to see more pictures, beautiful gardens. I especially liked the Swiss chard because that was the favorite vegetable of my youth. It grew wild where I lived, which is wonderful.
Wow.
Thank you. And we have a different type of closing hymn today. It's called We Are the World, and we'll watch on video because they're just these wonderful entertainers, many of whom are not with us today, some of whom are wearing mullet hairdos, which you'll find enjoyable, but it's a wonderful song. There are words to the chorus that are printed and available in your seats or near to your seat. So it's a small piece of paper like this for just the chorus, because I want you to watch these people. It's really a wonderful video, and I thank Carol Cole for suggesting this one.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We all a part of God's great big family. and the truth. You know love is all we need.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me.
Well, send them your heart so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be
Stronger and free, as God has shown us by turning stone to bread. And so we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world. We are the children.
We are the one to make a brighter day, so let's start giving.
Oh, there's a choice we're making. We're saving our lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me.
When you're down and out, and there seems no hope at all.
be extinguished. And if you have If you have one at home, please extinguish yours now. Our blessing is a reading, number 694 from our hymnal. May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us, now and always. We will close with our favorite hymn, if you would all stand.
Let there be peace on
Like there's
and
curious.
let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that is bound to be with earth and other. We family. Let us walk with each other in the perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solid vow. To take it and live each moment.